We are living in a massive marketing charade. You step into a showroom believing you have dozens of competitive options. In reality, it is all an illusion. According to a Repair Pal survey, consumers, especially women, are often quoted wildly different prices for the exact same repair, with some markets recording staggering discrepancies. The trust gap is real. Two-thirds of drivers do not trust their mechanics. 64% of car owners say repair costs keep them anxious, and 38% are convinced they simply cannot trust the person under the hood. A recent AAA survey confirms it. Two-thirds of Americans mistrust auto repair shops, citing price gouging, unnecessary service recommendations, and a long history of bad experiences. Dealerships and garages are feeding off your lack of knowledge. But today, I'm going to have to show you 15 genius car hacks using ordinary items that everyone already owns. These are the secrets dealerships are praying you never find out, and they will save you hundreds of dollars every single month. Let's get started. 15 tips for your car. 15. Hacking OEM features. Have you ever felt the headache of groceries spilling and rolling around every time you take a corner? Most owners rush to buy aftermarket organizers, but the truth is your car is likely already equipped for this. If your vehicle is a 2016 model or newer, try shining a light into the dark corners of your trunk or under the floor mats. Most manufacturers have integrated subtle, retractable hooks into the design. They aren't out in the open because brands want to maintain a clean aesthetic, but in reality they can secure shopping bags, water jugs, or anything prone to rolling. Instead of wasting money on cluttered cargo nets online, your only job is to find and activate these built-in anchors. Using these OEM points doesn't just keep your trunk organized. It prevents those annoying rattles from loose items hitting the interior plastic. Don't buy what you already own. Tip 14. Vector steering. If you hit the washer button and the fluid shoots over the roof, or worse, it sprays a completely useless corner of the windshield. Don't rush to the garage. A mechanic might just write windshield washer system inspection on your invoice and charge you a premium. The reality is the spray nozzles on many cars are designed to be adjustable. All you need is a simple needle. Insert it gently into the nozzle hole and use it as a joystick to aim the stream back to the center of the glass. If the nozzle is clogged with hard water deposits, this same needle can clear the blockage instantly. This doesn't just restore your visibility, it protects your wiper blades from grinding dry against the glass. A tiny tool from a sewing kit can save you from a ridiculous bill. That is a massive win. Tip 13. White vinegar versus oil film. Have you ever wondered why, when driving into the sunset or facing headlights at night, your windshield develops a blinding, greasy haze? That is usually an oil and silicone film, a buildup of road grime, cabin off-gassing, and leftover car wash wax. Standard glass cleaners are often completely useless against this layer. This is where we turn to basic chemistry. White vinegar. The mild organic acid in vinegar is perfect for breaking down grease and mineral deposits. Just mix white vinegar with water in a 1-to-1 ratio, spray it onto a microfiber towel, and wipe the glass thoroughly. Finish with a clean, dry cloth. The results will surprise you. Clearer glass, less light scattering, and significantly reduced glare. Don't pour vinegar into the windshield washer fluid reservoir without checking your car's owner's manual. But if used correctly on the glass surface, this is a cheap trick well worth trying. Tip 12. Baking soda and interior odors. A car interior is a confined space where the smells of coffee, sweat, food, and moisture love to take root, especially in fabric seats. Don't make the mistake of using car perfumes to hide them. That chemical cocktail usually smells much worse. Instead, use baking soda as a professional-grade deodorizer. Baking soda doesn't just mask smells, it neutralizes the actual odor molecules. If your seats or carpets are smelling funky, sprinkle a dry layer over the surface. Let it sit for 20 minutes. Then vacuum it up. Especially if you spill greasy food on fabric seats, remember this golden rule. Don't use water immediately. Sprinkle dry baking soda on it first to absorb the oil from the fabric fibers. If you add water too soon, the stain may spread deeper into the upholstery underneath. A box of inexpensive baking soda can help keep your cabin smelling much better. Tip 11. Protecting your paint. This next issue is universal, yet 90% of drivers ignore it until it's too late. Bird droppings and tree sap. We often wait until the car is dirty enough to justify a wash. But this isn't just an aesthetic problem. These are the sworn enemies of your clear coat. Bird droppings contain acidic compounds that, under the heat of the sun, bond deep into the paint as it expands. Most people try to scrub them off with force. That is the fastest way to scratch your finish. The secret is a gentle treatment using baking soda. Mix baking soda with a little water into a paste and apply it to the spot for a few moments. This softens the debris and helps neutralize the acid on the surface. Then wipe it away gently with a damp microfiber towel. No scrubbing, no fingernails, no scouring pads. The most important factor is timing. Handle it within the first 24 hours. Tip 10. Reviving pedals with Vaseline. Your gas, brake, and clutch pedals are how you control the machine every day, yet they are often ignored until they become brittle or slippery. This isn't just about looks. Over time, the rubber pads on your pedals lose their suppleness due to heat, dirt, and rain, leading to cracks and loss of grip. If your shoes are wet and the pedal is slick, a slip during an emergency stop is a real safety risk. Before you go out and buy replacements, you can use Vaseline to restore the rubber. Listen closely so you don't overdo it and create a dangerous, greasy surface. After applying a thin layer, let it soak in for a few minutes, then wipe away any excess with a dry cloth. However, this tip is only for minor maintenance. If the rubber is worn down or has deep cracks, go to a garage for replacement immediately. Tip 9. Tire wax and the deep black finish. Have you wondered why old cars at the lot still look fresher than yours, even though you just washed it? The secret is in those tires. Don't be foolish enough to trust ads and buy cheap silicone sprays. They only make your tires look like they just waded through a puddle of grease and are ready to attract all road dust after just 5 minutes of driving. Instead, get a tin of traditional black shoe wax. When you brush the wax onto the sidewall, the ultra-fine carbon particles fill the tiny cracks, creating an incredibly classy and deep matte black. The most genius point is that this wax layer is extremely dry and absolutely waterproof, which means dust won't have a chance to stick, and your tires will keep that just unboxed look for many months. A few dollars for a tin of wax and the results outperform thousands in chemicals. A spectacular wake-up call for those obsessed with expensive brands. Tip 8. Olive oil and interior gloss. Stepping into a car with a dashboard as greasy as butter and reeking of an industrial chemical plant is a truly terrible experience. Common plastic sprays usually contain alcohol and silicone, which cause the plastic surface to become dry and brittle over time under the harsh sun. To save your interior, you can grab something that every kitchen has: olive oil. It might sound strange, but olive oil is actually a high-end sunscreen for your dashboard. Unlike industrial chemicals that sit loosely on the surface, olive oil penetrates deep into the vinyl structure, keeping the plastic supple and providing a sophisticated matte finish that won't cause blinding glare on the windshield. And here's the good news for those who hate cleaning. Olive oil doesn't create static electricity, so dust won't be sucked onto the dashboard like it is with silicone sprays. Tip 7. Rust prevention with WD-40. Rust usually starts in places that few people bother to look at: door edges, hinges, wheel wells, bolt heads, and metal crevices. By the time the rust shows on the outside, the metal inside has often been corroded for quite some time. This is when WD-40 becomes a must-have item in your trunk. The name WD-40 wasn't chosen just for fun. According to the company's official history, WD stands for water displacement, and the formula succeeded on the 40th attempt. WD-40 also states the product was originally used by aerospace contractor Convair to protect the Atlas rocket skin from rust and corrosion. The beauty of it lies in its ability to push moisture off the metal surface. You only need to spray a very thin layer on hinges, door edges, bolt heads, or crevices where water tends to collect. Then wipe away the excess. No need to spray until it runs like a stream. No need to turn your car into an oil bucket. Doing this periodically before the rainy season or road salt season, you are stopping rust before it even has a chance to appear. Tip 6, the 3-second rule. Here is a classic scenario. You finish changing the battery and suddenly the power windows start acting up, either not going all the way up or losing the one-touch feature. Take it to the dealer and the mechanic might scare you by saying the motor is dead or the controller is shorted, and the bill will have at least a few zeros. According to RepairPal, the average cost to replace a window regulator motor in the US is about $370 to $501. Before you nod your head, try this 3-second rule. Hold the button all the way down for 3 seconds and pull it up to hold firmly for another 3 seconds. If the window works normally again, then congratulations, you have just completed the ECU recalibration process that professional mechanics always keep secret. In reality, the car's computer simply got disoriented after losing power and needs to be taught the start and end points again. This operation is so simple, even a child could do it. Yet it saves you from paying for a perfect part without a single scratch. Tip 5. Auto lock programming. Do you know your car might be smarter than you think? Manufacturers often intentionally hide the auto lock feature on standard versions to force you to pay more for high-end trims. But the truth is, the hardware and the lines of code to do that are already sitting in the car's brain. Some cars allow you to change the locking behavior via the vehicle settings menu, door lock settings, or a button press cycle in the manual. Instead of wasting money on cheap third-party OBD sensors that can easily cause electrical shorts, try searching for the lock button cycles or key turning sequences in the manual. Activating the auto lock feature yourself is not just a matter of child safety, but also a feeling of intense excitement when you've just hacked a $1,000 option for free. Manufacturers call it trim leveling, while we call it taking back what rightfully belongs to us. Go check your owner's manual right now because the treasure is waiting there. Tip 4. Instant AC heat discharge. If your car's AC still can't cool deeply in the midday sun, even after recharging the gas or replacing the air filter, then maybe the culprit isn't in the cabin. It's right in front of the radiator. That is the AC condenser. After a long time on the road, the aluminum cooling fins here can be sealed shut by insect carcasses, road dust, and dried mud. This layer of dirt acts like an insulating blanket, preventing the system from discharging heat effectively. When heat cannot escape, system pressure rises. The compressor has to work harder, the AC is weaker, and the car consumes more fuel. According to RepairPal, the average cost to replace an AC condenser in the US is about $803 to $935. So, before letting a garage draw up a big invoice, try something simpler. Use a low-pressure water hose, spraying from the engine compartment outward to push dirt out of the condenser. Don't use too much pressure. Don't bend the aluminum fins. With just 10 minutes of proper cleaning, heat exchange efficiency can be significantly restored. Tip 3. Coca-Cola, the terminal solution. If the car starts weakly, flickers, or starts intermittently, don't rush to conclude the battery is dead. Open the hood and look at the 2 battery terminals first. If you see a layer of white, green, or gray powder around the terminal, that could be terminal corrosion, which blocks the starting current. A lot of people replace the battery when the problem is just the contact surface. Coca-Cola is often rumored because it is mildly acidic, but a safer and more standard way is to use baking soda mixed with water to neutralize the corrosive residue. Interstate Batteries instructs using baking soda and distilled water, then brushing away the corrosion on the terminal. If you still use Coca-Cola in an emergency, understand its true nature. The acid in the soda can help dissolve part of the residue, but the sugar in Coca-Cola can leave a sticky layer that attracts dust and insects. Therefore, after treatment, it is mandatory to rinse with clean water and dry completely. A clean terminal helps CCA flow better when starting the engine. Sometimes the car doesn't need a new battery. It just needs a contact point not choked by corrosion. Tip 2. Toothpaste and wax headlight revival. Yellowed headlights don't just make the car look old. It cuts straight into your ability to see the road at night. Modern headlight covers are typically made from polycarbonate plastic, and over time, UV rays will oxidize, dull, and scatter light across the surface. This is when toothpaste becomes a cheap hack worth trying. The fine abrasive particles in toothpaste can help scrub away light oxidation on the plastic surface. You apply the toothpaste to a soft cloth. Rub evenly in small circles. Wipe clean. Next, apply a layer of wax to temporarily fill the tiny pores and create a protective film. But to be honest, if the light is heavily blurred, toothpaste is only a temporary solution, not a replacement for professional polishing and UV protective coating. Still, with light yellowing, this hack can improve clarity significantly. And before spending about $150 for a polishing service, a tube of toothpaste is still worth a try. Tip 1. First notch refueling. This is the most important hack on the list because it directly relates to what feeds the engine every day. Many drivers have the habit of squeezing the pump trigger at the fastest notch to leave the station as soon as possible. Sounds convenient, but high speed can create strong flow, air bubbles, and more fuel vapor in the pumping system. NIST Handbook 44 requires fuel measurement systems to control air or vapor passing through the meter, as air and vapor can affect liquid measurement. To put it simply, vapor and air bubbles are always things the measurement system must be wary of. So why do you create more conditions for it yourself by pumping at full throttle? Pumping slowly at the first setting helps to stabilize the fuel flow, reducing air bubbles and loss due to evaporation. Especially in hot weather or when the fuel tank is nearly full, a slow speed makes the refueling process easier to control. You might lose an extra minute at the gas station, but in return, you reduce the risk of paying for gas vapor, reduce bubbles in the tank, and protect the fuel system from rushed fill-ups. Want to truly save? Don't just look at the price per gallon. Look at how you pump that gallon. Conclusion. Did you realize that the entire modern automotive maintenance system was actually developed based on a lack of consumer knowledge? These 15 techniques we just explored are not merely simple hacks. They are fundamental applications of chemistry and mechanics designed to help you reclaim control of your property and your wallet from the grip of giant car corporations. Never let flashy advertisements or exaggerated service invoices cloud your judgment. Start immediately with tip number 1. The first notch refueling protocol during your very next visit to the pump. If this information was valuable to you, don't forget to subscribe to receive notifications for our upcoming secrets and automotive masterclasses.